Hello everyone, welcome to Lotus Heart Tarot. I'm sure happy to have you guys here. We are going to dive right into your reading. If you missed it yesterday, we did the 3-month reading, which happens to also finish out the end of the year. A lot of really interesting messages, a lot of good juju, a lot to look forward to, I feel like. All right, guys, let's dive in and see. You can find that video in my video section on my page if you're looking for it. All right, here we go. For Pisces, please, Spirit, what does Pisces need to know right now? What messages are in Pisces' highest and best good right now? Please show us. Wow. Pisces, oh my gosh, it isn't always easy to be an empathetic, compassionate person. I'm sure I don't need to tell you that. But wow, again, see, right as I was sitting down to do this reading, Pisces, I feel like something is about to really open up for you, and I keep getting this feeling. You have this energy of perseverance through, and it's kind of giving me like difficulty. How do I want to say it? Like, it's really easy to lose ourselves in the world we're in right now. There are so many things trying to pull us away from our path, or trying to pull us away from kind of our highest and best energies. Politics, war, there's a lot of things, and we, what our role is in all of that sometimes can become unclear. We feel like, well, if we're not fighting for something, or if we're not standing for something, or if we don't, then it will lose, or it won't have anything. And I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, or what to do or what not to do, but sometimes the greatest thing that we can be is just ourselves. Not anyone's champion, not any cause's champion, not anything, but to truly and completely be ourselves. And a lot of you are light workers. A lot of you have extremely deep compassion and empathy for the world and for your fellow travelers, and you feel things on a really deep level. And you're also a mutable water sign, so you have a tendency to take on the shape of whatever vessel you're in. And I feel like just for kind of those very reasons, sometimes just day-to-day life can be a little bit more difficult, or can keep you in a bit of a more serious energy, or it's kind of a fight to just maintain yourself, your integrity, being the shape that you want to be. It's giving me like, let alone your personal relationships and the interactions that you're kind of like forced into, or forced to have on a daily basis. There's just kind of this vibe of, you've done it. It sort of feels like you've passed a test. I don't know. I hate thinking about the universe. I like, hate is a very strong word, but I really don't like to, and kind of stay away from the idea or the energy that the universe is teaching us a lesson. Of course, I think the universe is providing opportunities for us to learn and grow, but I don't think that the universe is like consciously out there like teaching us a lesson, right? Sometimes it may feel that way when we're on the receiving end of some karma that we put out that wasn't so great, or whatever, but I don't think that the universe is really like that. But it does, I am getting this, like, you passed a test, or you, maybe you have found a key into like a higher level spiritual gateway, or it just feels like either whatever you've learned from this energy of perseverance, of just sort of like making it through and holding on to yourself in the process, it's opened up like an ease of being that wasn't part of your life before. I don't even, sometimes when you understand something, like I know, I always use the example of my family because that is my example, right? That is what I have lived through, right? That was my kind of trial, or that was my teacher, right? I didn't understand that what I was experiencing. I didn't, by all appearances, I was very lucky to be in my family. We had everything. And I went to the best schools. I just had a very fortunate life. I had a very, very, very fortunate life, okay? But I know I was the black sheep. I was the scapegoat. I was blamed for everything, And so it was really hard for me to identify why it was so difficult to be a part of what looked like such a great family and to live in such great communities full of people like my family, and why that was such a trying experience. And it was like, as I learned about narcissism, as I learned about, emotional IQ, as I learned about religion and philosophies and read books by people like Brene Brown and, Deepak Chopra and Paulo Coelho and all of those things. And it opened my eyes, and it gave me words, and it gave me a vocabulary, and it gave me a sense of, oh, this is what I'm experiencing, and this is why it's so hard for me. And once I could see it, and I could see it in action, and I could see my family employing these tactics, and I knew how to respond to it, and I began to understand like how to have boundaries and how to keep boundaries, it got easier, right? But it was still difficult. And I couldn't just give in. I couldn't just be the scapegoat. I couldn't just acquiesce and just let them put all this stuff on me, right? I had to like maintain my sense of self. And, whether it's your family, whether it's society, whether it's a difficult relationship, whether it's multiple difficult relationships, whether it's friendships, whether it's your siblings, whether it's, whatever it is, right? It's like you kind of logically sort of start to figure it out. You logically start to be able to put a name on it. Maybe you found out you have ADHD, and like the way you've been navigating the world, like trying to conform to the way that it is, never worked. And so now all of a sudden you're discovering, oh wait, I don't try to get my ADHD to conform with the way society says I should be. I learned the tools that make it work for me, that allow me to navigate it the way I need to navigate it for my greatest success, right? It's like you stop looking at yourself as the problem. You stop looking at yourself as because all these things are really trying to put on you that the weight of what they don't want to carry. And so it's like there's some kind of shift that's happening here where all of a sudden it's like you're throwing off this energy of trying to understand it even, or trying to work with it. And you're like, no, hold on. I'm the most important part of this quotient. Like, this is about me. This isn't about me fitting into the thing that you want me to fit into, or I should, quote unquote, fit into. This is about me being able to be who I am in my true nature and navigate successfully. And it feels like through that sort of process, which I feel like a lot of you have already been in or are like kind of graduating from, it's giving me a lot of like school references, like passing the test, graduating, like I'm even seeing like a cap and gown kind of energy. So I don't know, that it feels metaphorical. Maybe for some of you there is some kind of literal graduation happening, but it's like you're moving into a space where now it's like you don't even try to process this information. You just sort of see it for what it is, and you carry on being yourself, and that which does not resonate with you, instead of trying to understand it or trying to find a place there that works for you or whatever, you just keep moving. You just move on. And there's some kind of, it's leading you somewhere. It's taking you somewhere. And in the process of all of this, you are creating something. You see this goodness, it feels like a bubble. You know, it feels like a space of safety for yourself. You're creating this for that, where it's safe for you to be who you are. That could be creating some kind of boundary of what you will and will not accept or tolerate. That, you know, it's like, it's feeling like more of, instead of like holding a boundary that sometimes, by the way, Matt, thank you for yesterday for listening to this video. Guys, no. Hey, come here. Come here. Come here. Mike. Instead of, sorry, we got something, we're doing a project and some stuff just got delivered for it. Okay, so anyway, instead of this being like where you look at this on an individual basis, like every single thing that happens, it's like we take it on and then we process it and we work through it and we go, okay, well, I can name this. I have the words for it. I know what it is. You know, but you're still feeling it and kind of taking it on as you process it. You're not doing that anymore. It's like you have this impenetrable kind of field around you. And, you know, when you raise your vibration and when you really begin to implement this kind of boundary, people who are looking for, you know, sources of energetic supply, like energetic vampires looking for energetic supply, they're going to see that you get it and that you're not going to fall prey to their stuff. And so they're not going to try to have it with you. They may talk negatively about you. They may try to dismiss you. They may try to make you feel bad. But there's no success. There's no back and forth. There's no engagement. It's just like, I feel this restrictionless movement. Okay. I don't know how else to really say that, but there's no doubt in your mind. And this isn't about perseverance or surviving or looking for, you know, people who also share your way or anything. It's just like you with you floating through everything. And it does feel a lot like floating, which has to do with the flow and really, you know, surrendering and being at ease with whatever comes, like knowing that you can handle it. And with this, like impenetrable, like boundary around you that I feel like that is kind of keeping your empathetic heart safe here. This isn't like you can't have relationships with other people or you're not going to meet anyone. The very few people who are able to really get through that boundary are going to be special and remarkable people just like you. I don't know why, but I saw this yesterday and I feel like I need to read it right here. This is a quote by Viktor E. Frankl, who's a psychiatrist. It says, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." Yeah, I totally understand why I felt like I had to read this. It was like nagging me. Because I think, you know, you guys have been choosing your responses. You've been taking that beat. You've been kind of exploring that pause. where, you know, we could respond the same old way we did to, you know, trying to make other people understand us, trying to fight to be heard, trying to, you know, and I'm not saying like walk away from every situation. That is not at all what I'm saying, you know. Listen to your intuition, trust your intuition. But what I am saying is, when you choose your response rather than kind of just letting, you know, learned behavior take over, you know, like a reactionary energy, you learn, first of all, a lot more information. If I choose, if every time, like if we're playing checkers and every time you move that way, I move that way, I'm not learning anything. If you move that way and I move this way once, and then the next time I move this way and the next time I move this way, I'm learning, right? So it may be that you've been through a period of kind of choosing different responses or choosing different ways of trying to engage with energy around you. And it's like you have learned a lot and now you know what to engage with and what not to engage with. Like where you can make progress or where you can't, or where it's safe for you to engage and it's not safe for you to engage. Like, I know I cannot deal with people that are like my family. It will trigger me. It is as much meditation as I do, as much as I understand it, as, you know, I may not react, I may not, you know, get emotional, or I may not anything, but like, I don't want to put myself in that situation. I don't want my physical body to go through that one more time. It isn't worth it. If it's not worth it for my freaking parents and my siblings, it sure as hell isn't worth it for anyone. I just am not, I do not engage with that energy, period. You know, I have a neighbor and he will every once in a while rear his nasty head and like come and be gross to me and try to get me to engage with him. And I literally just make eye contact with him and then I turn around and I just walk away. He just isn't even worth my time, my effort, or my energy. And, you know, that's sort of what this feels like. It's just, it's like, you know, I don't know, being kind to yourself even to some degree, like not putting yourself in situations or in places where because the thing is, what I feel like is your empathy is a celebration. Your compassion is a celebration. It's a gift. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And we don't want to put it at risk. We don't want to put it at jeopardy, you know, and we also don't want to let the world make us become something that we're not, or take us away from what we are or who we are. So there is this energy of joy, and it is also giving me the energy of freedom, like in that quote where it's like, yeah, when we choose our response, we choose growth and we choose freedom and we choose joy and we choose our own freaking inner peace. But it feels like you in relationship to the world becomes balanced, harmonious, and at peace here. Okay? I don't know. Just take whatever works for you from that. Yeah, it's like instead of trying, instead of, you know, just kind of making it or like having to put a lot of effort, there's like this effortless beingness. I don't know how to explain it. Okay, which is like a huge opening for a lot of abundance, a lot of beautiful energy can come towards you in that frequency. Oh my gosh. Look at this energy. Like it literally came out here in this blues and purples, and here. Pisces, I am just getting the feeling like people who have lost access to you are regretting it. It bothers them. It's on their mind a lot. You know, I do feel like there's almost this, you know, I feel it sort of coming through in the energy of anger. And we keep talking about anger. But it feels a bit like, you know, how dare Pisces like take their energy back? Like, who do they think they are? Or, you know, how dare Pisces think they're so much better than me? Like, I'm just getting that feeling. And, you know, there was that Aquarius energy. I think it was yesterday in yesterday's reading or sometime recently. And Aquarius is very close to Pisces. They're the other sign that isn't totally tethered to the material world. There's kind of this energy of where you may be coming across like you are a bit aloof or like you are a bit untouchable or unreachable, but I don't think it's a bad thing. I honestly, to me, it is, what I'm getting is like, it's a reflection of what you know you're worth. And that is like peace, freedom, and, you know, not having to get involved in these super low vibrational things, with people. And it's just sort of like, I just don't engage in that, and you will bend to my will, or you won't be in the club, the Pisces club. And, you know, that might sound harsh, and it might sound like, you know, I don't know, like contrary to compassion and empathy, but it's not. Because it's holding that space for yourself first and foremost, and protecting that space for yourself first and foremost. And then what you have to give, you can give. But I honestly, there is this bit of elusiveness. It is very high priestessy energy, for sure. This almost feels like the arc of the high priestess. You know, in the high priestess card, there are pomegranates on the back curtain. And those pomegranates represent the Greek myth of Persephone, who, okay, I might not get this totally right. I used to love mythology, and sometimes I will intermix mythology. It's like me with foreign languages. I've taken, you know, enough foreign languages to get them all mixed up. I will be thinking I'm speaking Italian and I'm speaking Spanish, and yeah, it's just, it gets a little jumbled up for me sometimes. But with Persephone, you know, she was her mother's like pride and joy. Like they loved each other. They were very close. And Hades like took her to the underworld, and her mother, you know, wanted her back. And man, I really don't want to mess this up because it will mess up the whole meaning of it. And I feel like I jumped into the deep end without thinking about how I'm going to swim. That's how I feel right now. But just bear with me. If you feel like it, you don't have to. Hades took her to the underworld. I think Hades was kind of obsessed with her, or he abducted her. And her mother was the goddess of harvest. And when Hades took Persephone away from the mom, it caused the earth to be barren. And finally Hades agreed to allow Persephone to rejoin her mother, and the mother's happiness caused the world to be fertile again. So anyway, but because Persephone ate the seeds of a pomegranate while she was in the underworld, she had to agree to return to the underworld once a year. And every year that would cause winter. Okay, But so the pomegranate seeds in the High Priestess card represent Persephone in this story. And if you think about it in terms of Persephone, like she went to hell and back, you know, that this is the kind of like, how does the High Priestess become the High Priestess? Like, it involves going through difficulty. It involves going through hell, right? Through the underworld and experiencing really difficult things. That causes us to learn to kind of keep our secrets to ourselves because people deceive us, right? It causes us to kind of be cautious and optimistic and allow people to kind of earn their spot in our life, you know. Not Persephone, but the High Priestess is not out there trying to be a people pleaser. She's not out there like trying to get the whole world to love her. She's sitting on her throne, keeping her thoughts and her words and everything to herself, staying very, very, very connected to her intuition and her crown chakra energy. And she's sort of letting the seasons come and go as they do and as they will, you know, without trying to control them. She's just at peace and at one with, you know, her experience, and she's not, you know, out here trying to do anything different. But she's also really self-contained and not trying to, you know, make other people happy, or she doesn't care what anyone else thinks about her. You know, she's sitting there sort of in her silence without feeling like she needs to say something to be recognized or to be appreciated or to prove that she's smart or that she has something to say in the moment. She holds herself in that regard. And there's not anyone that looks at the High Priestess card that doesn't hold her in that regard. She's the fucking High Priestess. You know what I mean? And that's what it feels like, Pisces. Like you're coming into this energy really strongly. And somehow that is making you have this harmonious outcome. And remember with this card, I said, it's like you're allowed to be you. You're at peace and at one kind of with the world. And you're not taking a bunch of stuff on. You're holding your own space and shape here with this kind of impenetrable boundary, but yet you are still coexisting and exchanging and a part of what is, without, you know, taking too much on. You're not projecting anything and you're not taking anything on. You're just this calm mirror-like surface of reflection. Okay. You have this speak your truth energy, and I do get this. At some point somewhere in this reading, I said something like, you know, this isn't about just like always walking away or something like that, where it's like, I'm not telling you how to do it, I'm telling you to listen to your intuition. That's why I think these cards are purple and blue. The High Priestess knows intuitively when to speak, when to take action, when to stand up, but she maintains this sense of balance and this like pillar of consciousness kind of energy in between those moments. And you do have this speak your truth. And I do feel like when it comes a time where you really need to speak your truth, you will be able to. You will do it in such a way where people just know you're connected to something higher and deeper, you know, where it's almost, I almost feel as if these are really inspired words kind of moving through you. And it's not about ego. This is all really higher level chakra energy. This is all, you know, you have the throat chakra, the third eye chakra, and the crown chakra here. This is all very like inspired, almost like, I don't know if it's ever happened to you, but it happens to me kind of, I don't want to say a lot, but it does happen to me kind of a lot, where I feel like those aren't even my words. Like that came from somewhere else. You know what I mean? And it sort of feels like that. Then you have this, someone you love is thinking about you right now. I keep getting this feeling that people whose lives you have touched, or people who at one time may have had easy access to you, there is this, I do feel there is like some kind of like anger involved, or some kind of like, I keep getting this like, how dare you energy, where it's like they're recognizing that they cannot reach you anymore. And honestly, this really feels frequential, you know, where at one time they felt like they just could reach you anytime, or they could just have access to you anytime. Now there is kind of this like repellent energy where they don't even feel like they can get to you. And it's telling me it's like through, like, I feel they reached you in the first place through trickery or something. Like it's giving me this like you are seeing through the deception. Maybe it's beyond that. It's like you're just seeing the truth. You're just so connected that you're just seeing the truth now. And maybe you always saw it, but maybe the truth that you were missing was that you thought, I can work with this. Like I see it for what it is and I can deal with it. Where now you're like, I can see this for what it is and it's not in resonation with my soul. Like this threatens my empathetic, compassionate heart or being or way, you know, because this is someone who's just a thief. Like they're just stealing it. They're not earning it, deserving it. Yeah. And then you have your dreams hold sacred messages. I do, you know, there's the full moon here under her head. It does feel a bit like things could be revealed to you in dreams. This doesn't even have to be, it's like it's giving me sort of like metaphorically, like maybe it doesn't make sense quite at first. You might want to start keeping a dream journal. It may not necessarily make sense right at first. Like you might be like, what was that about? But I do think that it will actually become very like crystal clear. Like that's what it's giving me. And then you have like surrender to the lessons. This actually feels like freeing yourself from your past. To me, it feels, you know, the butterfly, you know, the butterfly is just flying and appreciating life in the form that it's in now. It's not saying, I used to be a caterpillar. What if I become a caterpillar again and I can't fly and I lose my wings? What if, you know, it's not sitting there in fear. Man, I also saw this. Wow, Pisces, this is coming to me as well. Wow, it was just 11:11. There was on Instagram, I think it was yesterday, this thing where this person walked into a room full of doors. And there was a spirit there that said, you can choose any door. And one door said fame, one door said abundance, one door said love, one door said, you know, all these things that we all, you know, are craving and want in life. And the man sat down and he was like, oh gosh, what should I pick? I'm afraid to make the wrong decision. I'm afraid to pick the wrong door. And so he sat there and he was like, I'll just think about it. So he sat down and he was thinking about it. And eventually the voice came back and said, your time is up. And he said, I didn't get to choose. I didn't choose a door. And the voice said, the fact that you didn't choose is your choice. You were too afraid to make a choice. And, you know, your fear of making a choice became your choice. And with this butterfly thing, I like where my mind went was like the butterfly isn't afraid of becoming a caterpillar again. So there's something here that is like All of those doors are available to you, and all of those doors are in front of you at this time. It feels this way to me. And it is about not being afraid of, choosing the wrong door, or having a past experience happen again. It is understanding that you have taken on this new form and you are not the same. And that, you have developed some type of protection for yourself to where you are able to be fully empowered and go out into the world and interact with anything, as much as you want to, or whatever. You can go in any direction, you can choose anything. You are not the same as you were before. Like, it's literally giving me that. Okay, so anyway, like, don't be afraid. And don't be afraid of becoming a caterpillar again. Or don't be afraid. Oh my gosh, you guys, did you see that? Wow. Look at that. Lover's Way, like, went right there, face up. I'm just gonna let that one stay there. But yeah, see, it's like that. I really feel that. Whatever this thing that you persevered through or learned from, or, whatever it is that you have experienced here, that you have transformed through the process of, there's such an ease, there's such a, like, so many lessons learned. Wow. See, okay. You guys have Lover's Way, Second Star, and Shameless. And it just, like, it feels like, where are you going? And it also feels a bit like, with the doors, that it feels like, just freaking, unabashedly ask for more than you think you can have or handle or whatever. Like, ask for it all. The Lover's Way is like, part of what it's talking about is loving without any expectation of return. It's not like, I'm giving this to you because I expect this back, and that, I think this Lover's Way is connected to this empathy card, just in this fact of, like, you may have been choosing people in relationships that were unable to give you what you want. I mean, what you deserve, or to basically reciprocate your love. And yet you may have been giving them a ton of love and then walking away hurt and scarred and kind of like, almost like resentful of your own ability to love, or your own, like, almost blaming yourself in some way for having loved someone that could not reciprocate it, or even, like, it's kind of giving me, like, bearing the scar of it, or kind of closing yourself off a little bit to even wanting to it, or wanting to try again. And it's just sort of giving me that wasn't love. That isn't love. Love builds bridges, and it will help you, heal any of your brokenness and smooth any of your rough edges, and will put you back together. Like, it is out there for you, and people who are capable of returning it are out there for you. And you have selflessly been empathetic and compassionate to people who, and given your best to people who may have just taken it without any regard of what it was costing you to give it, and without any appreciation or any ability to return it. They're thieves. It keeps giving me that word, thief. But that doesn't mean that that's the only available experience. And you know, you have, it keeps giving me, like, you have transformed. You have this, like, force field, you know, you have this, like, this boundary around you. And you are, it is even giving me, like, you're giving off energy that tells those people to kind of stay away from you. You know, when I say this, I'm like, please listen to your intuition. Like, do not trust that you have some kind of force field around you that is telling people to get away. There are people that are brazen and brass enough to try it anyway. The second star card is a portal to adventure, to a new place, okay? And this is following your, like, letting go of all your expectations and just following your curiosity. You know, I kind of keep getting this feeling, Pisces. It's like, what can I do now? Now that I've changed, now that I'm in this different form, now that I know what I know, now that I'm able to relate to the world in this peaceful, harmonious way, you know, and I have these boundaries in place. Now, what is out there for me, you know? And it's almost like exploring the world as if it's a totally new place, because it kind of is. You know, you have changed. Sometimes the whole world doesn't change, you change. And then you have this shameless energy. And this, honestly, when it first came out, it was giving me this energy of, it's like attached to the lover's way, like, where, you know, either we have shame about choosing people who could not love us back. We have shame for having made mistakes or choices that cost us in the past. Or it's even kind of a little bit of a feeling of being unlovable at the core of the core of the core of the core of the core. It's like, well, nobody's loved me yet, so maybe it's true, I'm unlovable. Well, that's what they would have you believe, because how convenient would that be? It wouldn't be their fault for not being able to love in return, and for being a thief and stealing something that they had no ability to give back. No, of course, then it would be your fault, because you're unlovable. How convenient would that be for all of those people? That's, of course, what they want you to believe. That's what they want to impress upon you. But that is not true. That is simply not true. I can tell you it's not true because it's not true for anyone. It's not true. I can tell you that definitively, truthfully, and I don't say that very lightly, but that goes along with our worth and our value. Of course, we are lovable. You know, and in fact, we are loved. We are loved by the divine. Regardless, we are. We're made in that likeness. We're made of stardust. You know, the universe loves us. So, like, this shameless, it's like rinsing this off. You know, it is not your burden. It is not your truth. And anyone that would have you believe that is someone who is a thief. Really and truly. Like, it's not anyone who's a light worker. It's not anyone who understands love and connection. None of those people would ever say that to you, because they look at you and they see automatically that you're lovable, that you're worthy. You know, it's people who want to steal and don't want to get caught, that would have you believe that it's your fault. Or it's like the thief that's like, well, you know, you left your door open, or you didn't lock your car last night. You know? And you going, oh yeah, it's my fault. They still stole from you. It's still your property, and they still took it. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's something here with this shameless of putting something in its proper place and letting it go completely. And that is, in a way, it's feeling to me this, the metamorphosis of becoming the butterfly, is freeing yourself from this doubt or this shame or this level, this whatever it is. Because yeah, all the people that put that on you are people who don't want to take accountability and responsibility for their own thievery. Period. All right, here we go. Let's dive into the tarot. I feel this energy of like, you know, getting clean from some belief, or, you know, like seeing something so clearly, or like washing it off so completely that you're not willing to let that get to you again. You're not, you don't let that, you know how hard it is to move through the space and to get rid of it, that you don't, you're not going to sacrifice it. Damn. Yeah. I mean, Pisces, what the hell? You have the 9 of Pentacles with the 8 of Wands. This is this energy. This is the energy that I feel right now. I feel like you're coming into this space where it's just like wide open in front of you. What do you want? Where do you want to go? How big can you believe it? How big can you imagine it? How much can you free yourself from your past and just let it fucking go? And trust that where you are now is different. It is. It's 100% different. You've never been here before. I can tell you that definitively. You have never been where you are right now, and you have never been the exact person that you are right now in this moment until right now in this moment. So why carry the past with you? Why let that even play any kind of role right here, right now? The 9 of Pentacles, it is an energy that takes a long time to get to. It's a lot of hard work. It represents, you know, that energy of putting one foot in front of the other, continuously to invest in ourselves, mastering ourselves, learning ourselves, understanding ourselves, learning who we are, even in relationship to the world. Man, it's giving me the goosebumps that that's a fish. But it's becoming completely at peace with exactly who we are in our own true nature, and learning how to navigate life to the best of our ability, as who we are, not changing who we are to go with the easy way of living, right? Because life becomes easy when you know who you are and you're navigating according to that. Life doesn't, the actual physical, tangible world doesn't ever really become easier. The only way to make it easier is for us to embrace ourselves completely. The 8 of Wands is this energy of, you know, this is moving forward without obstacle. Like, this is a lot of success. It's, you know, it's moving in the direction of your dreams without any kind of resistance or friction or obstacle. It is also Cupid's arrows, where, you know, you may have love coming towards you. It is also communication. It is also, you know, just opportunities and things coming towards you that you desire, that you have attracted to yourself in the 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles represents the law of attraction. So this is like things that are coming toward you that are opportunities for success and victory, and in ways where you're not going to have to learn a bunch of lessons along the way, you know? You have the Champion of Swords. This is the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords and the 8 of Wands are 2 of the fastest moving cards in the tarot card deck. So this is something that it feels like it's like it just almost happens like very, very quickly. Some of you have love coming in, a soulmate. You know, wow, with the 3 of Wands. This is like your ships are coming in, Pisces. I mean, what the hell? The Prince of Swords in reverse. This is an energy where, you know, the energy of being restricted, of not really being able to like move forward in the way that you want to, help this evolution of the 9 of Pentacles. It's like it served a purpose. This like having to try real hard to go anywhere, or like seeing the truth, but not having the material world sort of confirm this truth to you or validate you or whatever. This energy of, not being able to move ahead quickly, this forced you to kind of buckle down and take on other challenges within yourself and to shift energy within yourself. And it kind of fine-tuned you with you. You getting to know you knowing who you are, and shifted you into a higher vibrational frequency where you are now attracting what you want to you. You have so much of this energy right here, right now in this reading that it's like undeniable. The Three of Wands is like where our ships come in. It's like putting ourselves in this position, manifesting, using our free will choices to support the life that we desire. And then all of a sudden, here it comes towards us. It may have taken a while, but here it is, it's coming towards you. So, and it looks like for some of you, there's definitely relationships coming in. For some of you, maybe you're trying to get a business off the ground, or you're, whatever. These are favorable relationships. It can be business, it can be love, it can be whatever, but they're relationships that help both people, honestly and genuinely. This isn't thievery, okay? Wow. Holy mackerel. Pisces, you are getting the Nine of Cups and the Star card. These are both the cards in tarot that represent wish fulfillment. I mean, you can't make this up. I mean, literally, this energy is pretty intense. You're becoming the butterfly. I mean, there is a major shift of a way of thinking. This card, do you see there's an ant with this giant sword? This is the Page of Swords in this deck. And I just don't think I've ever spent a lot of time with this card. I actually love this deck. It's called Every Little Thing You Do Is Magic. And this, look at that. And there's your High Priestess. This is, this is that energy of, if you believe you can, you can. Ants, if you've ever watched ants, they're pretty incredible. I actually, yesterday when I ran out during the reading to pay my lawn people, there was like ants on I have like a paver walkway. And there were ants pulling the sand out from between the cracks in my pavers to like build ant houses on my sidewalk, on my paver walkway. And in Florida, we have fire ants. They're nothing to mess with. Oh, they will tear you up. They hurt so bad. And they give you the ugliest welts. Oh, anyway, if I were to say, look at that paver walkway and make a house out of it, you'd be like, make a house out of a paver walkway? And maybe like the first impression would be like, okay, well, let me take those bricks. Well, those bricks are not enough. Well, an ant looks at it. An ant looks at a paper patio and goes, how do I make a house out of that? Okay, I get the sand out of the cracks and I stack it up and I make my colony. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, there's not even a question of can I or what, if they just start into it. There's not a try, there's not a whatever. They're like, okay, this is the resource that, the only thing that I can really move here is the grain of sand. So I have to turn sand into a house. So this is how I will do it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know, but there's like a mindset shift here where when you look at anything, you see the possibility. And, there is a little bit of like this we're not measuring ourselves up. The ant isn't looking at the sword and saying, how will I wield that? That thing is like 5 million times bigger than me and it's a lot heavier than me. And how am I, without any kind of muscles, going to like lift the sword? You know, it doesn't say that. The ant just picks up the sword and lifts it. And that is sort of like this energy that I feel, Pisces, around you. It's just, it's not even like, how will I make this happen? Or how is this, it's like, just, it will, it is, I will, it does, I can, it is happening. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's like a major shift. And it is like really seeing through the eyes of everything that I wish for is possible. And even if you think about that, it is possible. It's like looking at all those doors. And, you know, when I read that, my first thing was, well, one of those doors unlocks all of those doors. If you can't go wrong. If you choose any of those doors, if you choose abundance, you could end up with fame. Look at Elon Musk. If you, not that anybody wants to be famous in that way, but, you know, you can unlock other things with that door, right? The door is not the finish line. The door is just opening a new, it's the second star, right? It's just opening a new adventure. What you do with that adventure and what you make with that adventure is completely up to you. But it's just going for it. You know what I mean? It's just making the decision to go into the door, you know, into the portal, into the second star, into, you know, choosing the door. You know, if you choose fame, you can turn that into abundance, right? Look at Kim Kardashian. If you choose, you know, it's like any, do you see what I'm saying? And it's like, it's like, which one feels right to me, you know? And this is what feels right is, you know, let's say, I don't know. It's just, it's like looking at what do I want and just being extremely clear about what you want. And then sort of like surrendering it, not worrying about the how, just knowing it's possible. It absolutely is possible. And if you make any choice in a positive direction, you're just one step closer to that wish fulfillment, to that greater vision. And the universe, like, it's all working together. It's all working together. It's just, I don't know, Pisces. I don't even know how to explain this. It's like, yeah, just do it. The Wheel of Fortune is telling you that, like, this is a period of change and transition in your life. Like, the wheel is turning in your favor. And, you know, however it has been turning, you're moving in a different direction. This is the wheel of change. And it's showing up here and it's letting you know it's here and that change is possible. And it is possible to have everything that you want, everything that you desire. You just have to believe it. You just have to buy into it completely. And let the universe help you. Let the universe do its part. Worry about the how. Wow. You have the Prince of Pentacles and Judgment, and then you have clarifying the Wheel of Fortune, and you have the Princess of Swords, clarifying the Star card and the Nine of Cups. This literally is a mindset shift. I mean, it's telling me that every single way but up. And the mind shift, I do partially feel like part of it is you're not alone. You are not doing this alone. You are not, this isn't like you against the world or you against anything. It is like you in conjunction with the universe. And if you really believe that and you really trust it and you really are, you know, living your life like this and you're not going, you know, like, I really want to find my person. I'm ready for my person. But how will I find them? But I don't meet people in my regular life. But I don't, you know, if you don't do that, if you don't backslide with your thinking mind and your ego, and you just stay in this zone of like, this is what I want, and I know I deserve it. I know I'm worthy of it. I know that I worked really hard for it. I know that I have the right mindset for it. It's happening. They're showing up. I don't know when, and I don't know how, but I know the universe has that and will bring it. And this could be the day. Tomorrow could be the day. Next week could be the day. But it's happening. And then you have the Wheel of Fortune with Judgment and the Prince of Pentacles. And, you know, this is kind of that energy. This is about protecting the ecosystem of you. You know, I don't know how else to describe it, but this is like that boundary. It's like you've learned a lot of lessons. You have risen above a lot of things in your life. You are so much more enlightened and so much more knowledgeable than you were, and the choices that you make, the decisions that you make reflect that. When you have justice and judgment, this is a lot about, you know, decisions and choices, and you know how those things reflect what is really happening within us and what we really do truly believe and what we really are really, you know, working toward or moving toward in our life. You know, both on a subconscious level and on a conscious level. And, you know, you want this all to be a reflection of your highest and best, and it will be. And just even with the Wheel of Fortune here, what is coming to you is a reflection of that. You know, it's kind of working together. The choices and decisions that you're making, you know, who you let in your life, who you don't let in your life, what you tolerate, how you see your own sense of self-worth, just all of it. It's all a reflection of it. And the universe, it's like, it feels, is rising to meet that occasion and is, you know, is showing up with the why and the how, you know, of it all. And there's karma involved in this. And if you have put out a lot of good karma and you have loved, you know, with your full ability, and you have shown empathy and compassion for your fellow travelers, and, you know, you have done all these things, and now you recognize the worth and the value of it, and you're protecting it yourself, then the universe is definitely going to respond. You guys freaking look at your cards. I mean, seriously, you do not have to be a tarot card reader to look at the cards that are coming out in this reading and be like, okay, yeah, things are about to get really good. You have the Elder of Pentacles here. This is the King of Pentacles. You have the Apprentice of Cups. This is the Page of Cups. This is you in your authenticity. This is the Lamb. And I feel like the Lamb is a good kind of analogy for the energy that we've been talking about with this empathy and this compassion, you know, this sweetness. You see how there's a halo around the Lamb? This is that protection. And it may just even be the protection of the way we're thinking and what we're taking on and what we are willing to process and what we aren't willing to process. You know, and it is seeing that, you know, that, yeah, of course, all the thieves in the world want you to hold their shit for them because they're not willing to take accountability. And so if you're someone who is trying to be the best version of yourself, and you're introspective and compassionate and empathetic, and you believe that everybody has a valid perspective or a valid point of view, and you're willing to kind of look at what they're saying, listen, it's not coming to you from a loving place if it's blaming you. Love does not blame. Not ever. Not ever. And you only really want to take things on that come from a loving place. Brene Brown, she says, like, she doesn't read her comments, you know, but she like, something that she said, I watched an interview with her, and she said, I would never even consider what a criticism that someone says on the internet that, like, doesn't even have their name and their picture or whatever there, because that person oh my god, I just completely lost my thought. This actually happened yesterday, and one of you, somebody said, I forget, like, I don't even want to give it a lot of time or energy, but someone said, you know, my dogs were like barking. Of course, like, I don't want you guys to have my dogs barking in your ear. As much as I love my dogs and everything, and as sweet as you guys are about my dogs barking, of course I don't want them to be. And I was extremely apologetic, or at least I felt like I was. I'm never totally here when I'm doing these readings, but I was like, I'm so sorry, you know, da 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 da. And but the lawn people came, and it was like the 15th. I had to go pay my lawn people, and it was just kind of a mess, right? And somebody said, I had to stop listening to this. You need to get your shit together. All right, well, like, I'm not even gonna dignify that with a response. Like, I'm not, like, this is just some random person. Like, do I care that they think that I need to get my shit together? I guarantee you. Well, I mean, it's not even a competition. I almost said I guarantee you my shit's a lot more together than theirs is. But, like, no, I don't guarantee that. And I don't, you know, I don't even need to engage in it. But one of you, Matt, wrote this very artful response that I absolutely loved. I was like, wow, I cannot find fault in this response. Not that I was looking for it, I was appreciative of it. And I normally just delete comments like that, but the response was so good that I just left it. I was like, yeah, okay, you know, this is engagement. This is like, yeah, you know, okay. Anyway, I don't know why I went off on that tangent. What are all these tangents? Like, suddenly I feel like I can't think. I'm going to have to wrap this reading up. Because it's actually starting to hurt my head. But I think also, you know, you can only talk about it so much. It's like, go, do, be, believe, make it happen, Pisces. This is your thing. This is your moment. This is your time. But you have the sun. But the Apprentice of Cups, though, you know, I love the Page of Cups energy. For me, it is our most authentic self. It is the part of us that cannot be seen or touched. It is the part of us that is sort of, I don't want to say like unchangeable, but is kind of unchangeable. It's who we are. And it's our goodness. It's our true heart. It's just who we are at the core of the core of the core. And it's just our most authentic self. And when we're in that space of authenticity and we are really not worried about what other people think about us or what impression we're giving or if they think we're good or if they think we're bad or if they think we have our shit together or not, you know, that we are free to be who we really are. And that is showing the divine, like, whatever you believe in, it's honoring that to the highest degree. It's saying, I'm okay just the way that I am. I accept and I love myself just the way that I am. And I see in myself the divine. And I am unafraid and unapologetic to live this expression and to trust that this is the highest form of me. And that when I'm here and I'm doing this, what I'm offering and what I'm putting out there into the world could not be better, could not be more, could not be perfect, could not be, like, nothing would make it better than what it is if I'm just me. Just the truth of me, you know? Because you're keeping it real. And yeah, there's nothing better than that, you know? With the sun, I mean, hello, this is the ultimate happiness. When you are who you are, and you are who you truly are, and you're not keeping up appearances or, you know, doing people favors in order to maintain friendships or what the hell ever it is. And people love you for who you actually are. There is no greater happiness than that, you know? There just isn't, you know? I just, like, man, you know, man, this is like giving me this vibe. I tell my kids all the time, like, I know I'm messing you up, but like, please understand and believe that I am not trying to, that like I'm just a flawed person trying to raise you and do the best that I can, and that I absolutely freaking love you. And if there's something that you need or that you just want me to understand about you, like just tell me. Like there's no, we don't, like we're good. And like I tell my kids, like my mom would never say I'm sorry. My mom was always like, you know, comparing me to other people and being like, well, they're more perfect than you, or, you know, whatever. And so with my kids, you know, I don't do that. And I always say I'm sorry. And I always say to them, like, you know, I'm trying. And I let them see that I am on a perpetual journey of growth and that I am changing. And that, you know, like I am constantly trying to push myself to be my highest and best self and to understand things and to heal. Like, my God, my kids have been with me through the whole journey with my family. Well, not the whole journey, but like the part they've been through with me. And they see me healing. They see me actively doing what I can do to be better and to not perpetuate that, to break that cycle and to be the most loving parent that I can be to them. And so when they love me, and like my daughter does this all the time, she'll be like, Mom, I know that was hard for you. Good job. You know, like she knows when I'm like, you know, this is, because I'm also a Libra mom and that's hard too. But, you know, being accepted and being loved when you're admitting that you're not perfect, when you're admitting that you are, you know, just kind of doing the best you can, but you don't have all the answers, that feeling is so incredible because it's so honest and it speaks to the honest part of who you are. You know, it speaks to, I am okay just the way that I am, and I am worthy of love just the way that I am. And when people are coming towards you in a loving, with real love, they're not going to criticize you. They're not going to make you hold their toxic shit. They're not going to project onto you. They're going to say, wow, how beautiful that you can acknowledge that truth. Wow, how beautiful that you are brave enough to reject, you know, everything that you know or everything that you've been taught to try to find a different way that feels more right to you. You know, they're going to admire you for those things, for your truth, not shove it down your throat and make you feel incapable or like imperfect or messed up in some way. That just isn't love. That just isn't the right person. That person's not in a space where they're in a space to thieve. They're not in a space to give, you know? So this energy here, being loved, and the happiness and the completion and just it's hard to put words in the sun. You know, it's hard to say what that is and what that feels like. But it's abundance. It's abundance in the highest degree, and it's security and it's stability and it's self-security, you know, knowing that you are... Wow, is this the Ten of Pentacles? I knew it was going to be. You have the Nine of Pentacles came out like this in the deck, and then you have the Ten of Pentacles. Oh, wow, with the Hierophant. Wow, look at that. I just literally, the High Priestess finally comes out in this reading. I feel like this whole thing, A may be significant here. I just saw that A and it was like A. I mean, wow. This reading is just crazy. You know, the Sun, you know, the Ten of Pentacles has the Kabbalic Tree of Life. The Pentacles are in the shape of the Kabbalic Tree of Life in the Rider-Waite deck. And this is like those everyday moments that are just, they're the stuff that when you're laying on your deathbed, you're not going to go, this is how much money I have in my bank account. You're not, you know what I mean, like it's that old adage. But you know what you are going to do probably? You're going to replay the best days of your life. And some of them are just silly, goofy days where you were just home eating pancakes with your kids. Or, you know, walking your dog just like you did every other day of your life. those are the moments that are gonna matter to you. That's your true abundance. That is the true wealth of your life. And those are the moments that are going to be the tangible energy that you're holding on to as you depart this world. I don't know why this has become so morbid suddenly, but here we are. And with the Apprentice of Cups, that Three of Swords and the High Priestess, like, did I not just say the High Priestess becomes the High Priestess through going through hell and back, and the Three of Swords is our suffering, and it is kind of putting it to bed, and it is kind of releasing it and letting it go, and just understanding that it was a contribution to the overall beauty of our life. But the truth is, our suffering helps us understand, but our suffering doesn't touch that true core of who we are. For me, it's like that inner Christy, right? Inside, in my heart, right? Like, my suffering hasn't touched that, hasn't changed that, hasn't shifted that, hasn't fucked it up, hasn't robbed me of that core soul that I had when I was born, that is with me this whole time and will depart this body when I go, has not been touched, right? But through the experience of suffering or going through hell and back, I have become. I would never have sought out all the wisdom that I share with you on this channel, nor would I have been such a compassionate, empathetic person had I not gone through the suffering I went through as a kid growing up in the house that I grew up in, And so through our suffering, we can evolve into an even more beautiful, even more like, higher and wiser and higher vibrational form of ourself. We just have to let that suffering go. We have to let that heavy energy go, and we have to free ourselves to fly, being this true self. And remember, at the beginning of this, I was like, maybe you have some spiritual key that you're opening and going into this new zone or whatever, because it feels like you're emerging out of something into a world of possibility. And now you have the Hierophant ending your reading, especially with the King of Pentacles. This is a period of stability and abundance. And with the Hierophant here, this is, you have unlocked a spiritual gate. You're not going back. You're not the same person that you were. This world is brand new to you in this iteration of who you are. I don't know, you guys. Just take it as it resonates. And, here we go. Let me get you some messages. This is incredible, though. I mean, honestly, I cannot understate. I feel like that's an understatement. I can't overstate. I don't know. I can't think. Here we go. I actually like not being able to think, personally. Okay. If you're dealing with a water sign, old flames, I am still moved by you. My nerves get the best of me sometimes. I won't let you go. Honest and angry. Damn, that angry. Is it not just showing up all the time? All right, if you're dealing with a fire sign, I am overthinking everything. I remember everything you said. We will be together again. Guilt. You give me so much to look forward to, and secret. If you are dealing with a earth sign, you are getting, I am afraid to trust. I regret how I handled things before. I can't stop thinking of you. I don't want to let you down, and be patient with me, please. And if you are dealing with an air sign, you guys also might have some kind of like committed relationship coming in here, and it's like just like opening to the possibilities in your life could really change very quickly. Like, it could get good really fast, Pisces. Like, honestly, I feel like you could live your life expecting that, because it's going to be true. Okay, dealing with an air sign, cold, I miss you more than you know, distant, hopeful, I want to talk to you. All right, this is what I have for you, Pisces. I hope this helps. I hope this brought you some peace and clarity. What a journey we've been on. Second star. I just got that again. All right. Anyway, until next time, guys, I send you off with all my very best. Always, always, always. You know what? I read we have a second moon. It's like, I don't know if it was like an asteroid or something that like, I don't know, but we have a second moon. Like, I think NASA's officially calling it a second moon. I don't know. I just saw it the other day. I didn't read the whole article. All right. This is what I have for you. I hope it helps. Until next time, guys, I send you off with all my very best. Always, always, always. Bye-bye.